Okay, guys and gals, this is our video number 2 of the MegaG Plus series. What we're going to try to do in this one is just show you real quick, uh, a technique and some tools to, get more life out of your pickup shoes and also, make them perform better. So as you can see with this particular car, there are, not significant grooving going on, but you can see on this particular shoe, there is a, kind of a not one that would, I think, create problems on most tracks, but you're going to run these things and get your money's worth out of them. You're going to end up with some pretty good deep grooves in these things. So there is a way to make them perform better. In fact, almost brand new, by just taking them off and running them on a file. Fingernail file can work, but I tend to use these knife sharpening type blocks, and they work probably the best of anything. But not having that, you could even use a nice flat surface on emery cloth or some not too abrasive. Oh, I'm interrupted. Wait, wait. Okay, sorry about that interrupt. I'm back. So anyways, the idea is to use something abrasive enough to actually remove material, but not too abrasive and not abrasive enough. So in this case, I don't recall the grit of this particular thing, but I've used this on almost every kind of car I've ever owned. So anyways, what you're trying to do is, without disturbing what you've done to the shoe profile too much, you want to pop the shoe off, and you always want to recheck the profiling after you do something like this. But what you do is you just take it off and get your finger on top of the surface of the shoe, and just move it, grind it, sort of like polishing the surface. And what you're doing is you're just trying to remove that groove as much as possible, but not taking too much material off. You're going to try to get rid of that groove, without actually damaging or taking too much material off the shoe. So what you're doing is essentially lessening the depth of the groove, so that the rail is biting on more of the shoe and not sitting inside of a channel of the shoe. Be careful not to bend up the shoe too much. The process can take a while sometimes, depending on how much wear is on the shoe. But again, the idea is to get that groove shallower. And if you have enough material, you can tell these things are, I don't know what the thousandths is on this material, but it's pretty thin. I mean, if you let them run too far, you get to the point of diminishing returns. But this one has a little bit of material left, so we can keep going on it. And sometimes you can get the thing to completely disappear if it's not too bad. But the idea is to do this before a race, or qualifying or whatever. You're trying to just get a situation where you're getting maximum rail to shoe contact. When you have a deep groove, the rail can sit inside of it, and not in some low spots. For example, when the rail's a little bit lower, and all tracks have variations in rail height. If that if that channel is too deep, the rail can actually not make contact, which is not something you want to have happen while you're racing. So in my experience, one of the things you want to do in this operation is just get the groove or channel, is as gone as you can, right? You want it to look like a new shoe, a virgin shoe, if you will. But sometimes you don't want to go too much, because you'll end up making this shoe just way too flimsy and not very durable in racing situations. So in my case, on a MegaG Plus, I would say that that's probably good enough for that shoe. And you put it back on. Check your profiling again, and I've got to do a better job on explaining or at least illustrating this, but you just want to check the shoe after you've done that work. And in this case, we've actually made a little bit of a change, so we need to adjust that shoe. And I showed you in the last video how to do that, but this particular one, after taking it off, moving it around, jostling it around, we actually made it a little more heel contact than we had before. So we'll want to take that heel contact out a little bit before we put it back in. Another way to check when you're doing this is to just push down on the front of the shoe, and if it moves, if it's got movement there, you have some work to do in terms of getting the toe adjustment right. In this case, we do. So I'll put a little more toe adjustment in there. And that's pretty satisfactory for our purposes here. Again, that's how you do the shoe. This one over here, you can certainly smooth it out, won't hurt, but it's not really worn enough to really make that big a difference. So in this case, I probably wouldn't do that. But if you have time, or you want to just make sure, just go ahead and take them both off and run them down the emery board or knife sharpener, or whatever it is you've got. Never hurts to do this. Makes the shoe flatter, smoother, and just a lot more in contact with the rail, which is very important in slot car racing. And that's that. That's just a little tuning tip that you should know about and utilize on race day. Even after practice, take your shoes off and smooth them out, get the grooves, get all the grit and grime off of them, and just make better contact with the rails. The car's gonna just be a lot more lively and a lot quicker if you do that. Alrighty, that's all I've got for that. I hope that was helpful, and I will chat with you guys on the next one. Take care.